Hello, welcome. We are back to Deluge. If you haven't seen my first video, is where I first got the Jesus, I forgot how loud this is. Um but basically um I did the first video and it was hilarious. I enjoyed it and I continue to play it on stream. So this is going to be picking up where the stream left off. And if you thoroughly enjoyed it, please drop a like or follow. And yeah, let's get into Deluge. I think so. Just to let me get into it because this music's very loud. But let me tell you. Let me load. So we were like I think 17 hours or 17 minutes in, and we met May. May is I forgot about May, but basically we met this girl who we stumbled across, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, we met a couple different people, and we're trying to see if they. Oh, we had to ask one out for the pay. I'm doing horrible recapping right now, but basically, our journalist told us to ask out one of the other girls so that way we can get information for the paper, and then we keep stumbling into May by accident. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Because there's this big grand scheme of things, basically. So let's get into it. Or hold up. You always gotta stay hydrated. Let me hydrate. Stay hydrated. Do you see these giant stones? There are many of them scattered across the town. Oh yeah, and I am Ren the Hollow. You can find me on YouTube or TikTok or Twitch. I need to clip more photos and do TikTok, but um, I'll do that after I upload these videos and edit them and things like that. But yeah, I like to come here whenever I am sad. They warm me up inside. She was right. When I placed my hand on one of the rocks, I could feel it radiating. Also, if you haven't already noticed, I try my best to read these things. And I try. I could feel it emanate a radiating heat, though I figured this way was likely due to the exposure of the midday sun, to the midday sun. And we are Abe. So are you feeling sad right now? She blushed. No, no, no. To be honest, I come here every night. It's not far from the farm, you know? Oh, she's from a farm. She gave me a tour of an archaeological dig site, leading me around the megaliths at least 3 times. After she confirmed that we've studied the stones from every possible angle, she drew my attention to a small placard. She appeared to have difficulty deciphering the writing. She looked up to me. Hey, what does this say? Bent over to look at the text, which appeared perfectly legible to me. I began to read. Swifter Bant culture. I decided to read on, not questioning her curious display of illiteracy. It says here the stones were erected by an ancient civilization. They function as grave mounds as a place to venerate chthonic deities. What? I get quiet all of a sudden. Stop staring into my soul. Oh, look, she was staring with me, a captivated expression. Please read more, read more. The Swifter Band people lived here between 7,500 and 5,500 years ago. During the early Neolithic, they were easily agrarian society that held livestock but also resorted to hunting at times. These megaliths were made from aren't native to the region, but were brought here from Scandinavia during the Ice Ages. That means that they were carried here by large glacials of ice. When the Sail Ice Age ended about 130,000 years ago, the rocks and the debris that were caught in the ice stayed behind. May was staring off into the distance, making me fear for the second that she reverted to a mysterious episode again, like on the night after I first met her. But she remained fully aware, and she began to speak. Isn't that a beautiful thought? Sertaban people found these stones. They had been lying here for more than 100 years, centuries since passed in the less than a heartbeat. She erupted in a smile as bright as the setting sun. It makes me so happy to think these stones will start standing here another 100,000 years. People will move, kingdoms will fall, but these stones will remain. It will be like nothing has really changed. Couldn't say it was a reassuring thought, though I welcomed it at the time, as I put my own growing problems somewhat in perspective. These stones will remain here long after I'd recover from bankruptcy, long after the burden of my part-time job had herniated my spine, long after I succumbed to Jesus, where a couple oversized rocks were considered for some reason a major tourist attraction. When night fell, I brought May back to her parents' farm. As we walked in silence, I clutched my book bag tightly under my arm. My gaze wandered off into the fields, these endless fields of impervious green that faded into nothingness. I thought to myself how straight they were, endued with the perfect geometric flatness, as though they had been carefully sleekened out by a trawl of obsessive God. You had to stop and tell me this? Nice. Perfect. I don't know what I did. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. I hurried downstairs, hazardly dressing myself. And okay, I'm trying to read this. I wondered for a second why my father wasn't home. He was a notorious light sleeper. Why? I'm looking straight at you. Why are you hitting my... Stop it. Ina, why are you keep hitting this? Please stop pressing it. The article, have you done it? I want the publishers by tomorrow. My semi-dormant mind was digging furiously. The weekly progress article, did you write it like I told you to? At the early hour, I didn't have the presence of mind to throw up a fight. Tomorrow, I promise tomorrow. Better not be late. But never mind that, I received notice that our cover article has set the city council alight. Turns out the farm assault wasn't an isolated incident. The mayor, Van Linden, has been receiving signals of worker mistreatment throughout the year leading up to the murder, but he failed to act in any meaningful way. Then last year's incident occurred. And now the police investigation has come up with nothing. Council members are beginning to openly question the mayor's efficiency. Do you realize our publication could cost him his career? Most of her words flew straight by me. Then I remember her eyes burnt bright like meteors on a pale Wednesday morning. She stared into my soul again. We should really be getting to school. On our way to school, Ina wouldn't stop lecturing me on the various intricacies of the municipal government. The trip has never felt so long. Voices within the mayor's own party are pushing him to step down. They're considering this an incident, a telltale sign of his continuing incompetence. Oh, speaking of telltale, once I get a better setup, I'm going to be doing the Walking Dead series, my favorite series of all time, which is the Wolf Among Us, and then other Telltales. I think there's like 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, the Telltale series. Members of his own party, wouldn't that be counterintuitive? What's complicated? How about Island Reformed, commonly referred to as AIR, is the largest party in the town council. Victoria consists of farmers and members of the church. With its size coming under division of the 8 seats the party occupies, 4 are held by members that represent the agricultural sector. They generally come from agrarian families and serve as advocates for the local farms. The other 4 seats, however, are held by Cupier faction. These are members of the church, mainly descendants of original inhabitants of the island. Current leader of the Cupier faction is John Cupier, Rika's father. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state? Ina pressed on, ignoring my remark. Even though they're the same party, there's tension between the Cupier faction and the agrarians. The faction always try to implement strictly isolated policy for the town, letting in few outsiders as possible. The agrarians, however, rely on the outside labor during harvest season and are genuinely more welcoming towards newcomers. The current mayor is agrarian, so the Kupter faction is weaponizing this incident in order to strengthen their position within the party. Hare has always exerted undisputed influence over the town's administrative affair. You can tell their power has never been contested by actual free press. I believe there's much more to uncover on this matter. I'd like you to ask Rika out on a date. Suddenly I was wide awake. I have absolutely... Oh, wait. I think I've done this before. We'll see. Because she's like, oh, you need to ask Rika out. And we arrived at school early. Yeah. Hold up. So she dove behind me as she knew she was hiding from something. She began to speak in a hushed voice. Look who's here of all people there. Go talk to her. You've been settling in nicely. So you're part of the early bird club. Practice swim team on Wednesday mornings. There's big championship coming up soon. I think I've done this before, but you know what? You guys haven't seen it, so let's get through it together. Because I don't remember. She ran her fingers through the long black hair. I'm so glad you're getting involved with the school paper. Personally, I don't read it, but my father's absolutely lyrical about that cover piece you ran in the last issue. Can't stop gushing about how much student journalism has improved over the last years. I laughed. All credit goes to Ina. And just to see a timely delivery. Oh, he said your paper's an asset to the town. Come on, there's time left before class starts. Let's take a walk over to the school grounds. So you know this place used to be an island, right? Oh, yes. Okay, so basically, she's gonna give me the history of this island. You're more than welcome to stop it at any point just to read. But like I've already read this. Periodically, storms would rage through the Isle Bay. Long story short, that this used to be an actual island due to the storm, and then somehow they got relocated, and the weather was awful. There was a flood, leaving annihilation behind. Parts of the fishing fleet were destroyed. Now, much later, the government had a full evacuation of the island, and they were rehoused in the mainland. It said it was due to increasing threats of storm and infeasible costs. However, some suspect that persistent poverty and inbreeding are equally important role. She smiled. So in the end, the island was left deserted? No, really. A group of 200 islanders stayed behind. All hardline members of small Church of Abbot has recently been ejected from the mainstream branch, local Protestantism. These are troubled times, theologically speaking, and the church schisms are a common occurrence. Anyways, the congregation vowed to remain on the island. The government did nothing to stop them. For a close century, they lived isolated lives, very little contact from the outside world until the reclamation. Yeah, so there was fertile soil, and so the original inhabitants were, observed the influx of newcomers, and then there were always tension between the new groups. The farmers worked hard, and they were blind to the heritage. A grave expression appeared on her face. The islanders are honest people. They never come up with a crime. By the time we made it up the stairs, class already started. She turned to me. You know what's interesting? After the Elizabeth flood, Abbott was never struck by a storm again. So the entire evacuation had been hit for nothing. You could say so. What? Why am I zoomed in right here? Some of the more self-righteous members of the congregation speculate the floods were punishment by a higher power. There's no need for them. The kingdom of heaven is like a net. Jeez. When it's full, the fishermen hauled it ashore, sat down and gathered the good fish into the vessels, but to cast the bad away. Anyways, I have to go to class now. I absolutely love talking to you. I was wondering. She paused for a second, tenderly winding her hair around her finger. Should I mind going out for dinner this Saturday evening? My parents are attending a wedding and I hate to eat alone. I could detect a hint of anxiety in her voice. Will you join me? I'd be glad to, if I survive my... Which one can I really, like... This town has restaurants? I'd be glad to. That's great. I'd love to learn more about you. I was stuck. So struck I had no choice but to accept, even though I realized I was playing directly into Ina's plan. And it's a date. See you next Saturday. With a nod of her head, she said goodbye. Ina pulled me aside a moment. Class ended. She seemed nervous. So? Shook my head in ignorance. She complimented you on your journalism. She would, wouldn't she? She told me what you guys... Just tell me what you guys discussed. Though I still had vivid recollections of Rika's coiling hair. Why is the music getting so loud? It may not be loud for you guys, but Jesus, like it's like in my ear. I had to admit the details of our conversation this morning. Talked about the town for a bit and thought for a second. Said you have evacuated. That makes sense to you? Rise by storm. Only a small community remained. I should be the judge of that. An awkward silence lingered. The newsroom was a mess. Every inch of floor space was filled up with boxes, newspaper clippings, scattered clothing. So, I was wondering, when will you introduce me to the other editors on staff? She flinched. It's not a school paper. I never said it was. We got other editors, but they mostly work from home. It's not like I write everything myself. It appeared that I hit a nerve, and I began to regret my line of questioning. I dug through my memory for something that would cheer me up. You know what? There was something strange Rika told me this morning. What? Something about church schism just before the island was evacuated. There was a little vague on the matter. Rika said it was the reason some of the islanders stayed behind. Church schism. It seems like that was highly unlikely, if only. There, I found something. It's called theological inquiries. Why are these such hard words? Is it relevant? Some more typing. I'm not sure. It could be. Inquiries were a big deal. The Reformed Church at the time, they could point towards corruption and severe theological teaching. Oh, we're closer now. Hello. The thing is, the Church of Abbott and Cabrera have always held a pivotal position in the power in this town. Her eyes were glowing. Are they? Any dirt old or new will surely store much more than a vagrant, oh god, migrant pattern of insects. As she turned her attention back to her phone. There it is. There's a copy of Municipal Archive of Bremsburg. It's less than 20 minutes away by train. We'll go there on Friday. Friday? We don't have school on Friday? Oh, but this is much more important than school. Besides, we'll get a lot of time off for mandatory club activities. She was trembling with excitement. Head over to my house for now. I want to run some ideas by you. Was in the mood to protest. We'll save right here. And just want to say thank you guys. I'm going to stop right here for a second. Um, it's going to be all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed our video, or my video, please drop a like and a follow. You get a double feature and where I do the train trolley. But I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna also do part two of On a Date with Death. That one's hilarious, and I love that one. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.